Hey y'all, welcome to this episode of Talk Your Shit podcast. We're gonna talk, not me, but we are gonna talk about making multiple six figures and the type of mindset it takes to reach that goal and to, go beyond. And so, who better to hear from than the money maker herself, the queen? I'm joined today by Miss Marsha Carter-Hall. How are you,
Hey.
Marsha?
I'm good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I am excited for this conversation. I'm doing well, so I am elated. So, tell us what you do. I know what you do, but they don't know what you do.
So many things. So many things. First, I am a nurse practitioner and I own Quintifusions and Wellness, which is a medical spa in the Baltimore area. And I also have a consulting company, which is Cashflow CEO, where we help nurses and nurse practitioners start businesses similar to mine, medical spas, and position them to be profitable and sustainable. That's what I do.
Ooh, so what was it like for you growing up?
Ooh, you know, she said I'm gonna dive right in there.
We're going right in.
Growing up was cool. I'm a twin. My mom was a
What?
single mom. Yes, I'm a twin, 9 minutes apart. That's a fun
What?
fact for me. A lot of people do not know that, but I am a twin. So grew up in a single family home. My mom is a nurse. She raised three girls. So, all of us, my older sister is 10 years older than me and my sister, but growing up was cool. It was a lot of, I always had my own best friend with me. People would be like, oh, every time there's Marsha, there's Patricia. There's Patricia, there's Marsha. But I will say that the hardest part about growing up as a twin is having your own identity and
Mm-hmm.
being able to kind of just be you, be just you, uniquely you. When people see you growing up as a twin, you're a pair. It's always Marsha and Patricia or Patricia and Marsha, but never just one or the other. So as we got older, we've branched out, we've done different things, but we've that was a very challenging part that we didn't realize that was going to come up, later. So growing up was
Wow,
cool.
I can only
And
imagine.
yeah,
That does make sense though, having like an identity crisis, basically, because there's two of you. Well, I mean, you made a name for yourself. You out here making bank.
yes.
So what in your life happened that made you say, "Hey, I want to quit, this 9 to 5 job, and I want to, become an entrepreneur."
Ooh, well, I will tell you, I didn't start the medical spa space company by myself. I started with my spouse, Adrian Carter-Hall. And at the time, I was working at the bedside as a nurse in the emergency department. And COVID was just getting started. Everything was going crazy. We were
Mm,
working crazy hours. And it was really scary to be working in the midst of the pandemic at the bedside. And I was like, I'm tired of going to work, being afraid of bringing COVID home, being
mm,
afraid of getting COVID myself,
mm,
um, dealing with sick people day in and day out, and some of them not making it. It's only so many times you can see that without it starting to take a toll on like you as a person. And
mm,
so I said, I want to do something different that is going to help people either recover from COVID quicker or boost their immune system. I did some research and came along IV therapy, IV hydration and vitamin therapy, and the benefits of it and things like that. And that's really how we started this business. It started as a concierge mobile IV hydration and vitamin injection business. And then it has evolved into aesthetics and beauty and wellness and weight management and acupuncture. So that's like where we are now. But that thing that happened was
mm.
me tired of working at the bedside during the pandemic and just being completely burnt out of seeing so many people just at the end of the road for them, and it was really sad.
Yeah, that sounds very sad, honestly. And it's something about, a pandemic and death being really close to your door and being like, you know what? I need to go do something for my own life, you know? And
Yes.
so, well, I'm not happy about the fact that, you had to experience that because first of all, nurses, y'all, oof. Bless y'all nurses. Okay. Bless your heart. Thank you for your services. Oof, it couldn't be me, but
It's
I
a
am
lot.
happy that you found your own way. You're like, you know what, I'm gonna start my own business. I'm gonna go out here and make money. And you're doing phenomenal, if I say so myself. So what happened when you first hit your first six figures? What was that like for you?
First of all, I didn't even know it.
Okay.
Which I would recommend. Like you need to be looking at you need to be looking at how much revenue your business is generating every single
Mhm.
month. And what I do now, I wasn't doing then. Um, but when my business hit its first six figures, I was like, oh wow. Oh, this is like I was really excited. I was surprised. I was shocked. I started looking up statistics and being like, is like, is this a big thing? Is this like a big deal, or is it like something that's supposed to happen? Like, of course, I
Mhm.
wanted it to happen, but it was never the original goal. The original goal was never to leave the bedside and go make bank. It was to leave the bedside, try to help people feel their best, feel better, recover quicker, and in doing the work, the money would come, kind
Mhm.
of thing. And so, Adrian, she would always tell me in the beginning, purpose before paycheck or purpose before
Oh.
profit.
Mhm.
And we have aligned ourselves with that as part of how we make moves in our company, as a part of the services that we provide in the community, which I really feel like has allowed us to grow so quickly and make the revenue that we made is because our work is purposeful and we're very passionate about the things that we do. And so when a client schedules with us and they schedule over and over and over again, we like to know why are you choosing us? You can go to any other place. And they always tell us it's the way we make them feel, it's how we educate them. They can tell that we're passionate about what we do.
Mhm.
And that just aligns with purpose before profit and purpose before paycheck.
I love that you said purpose. Purpose over profit. Profit is important. Okay, so we're not just, doing like an expensive hobby and wasting our time and our energy and now we are, knee deep
Yep.
in debt and now we're on the streets and homeless and
Oh, oh
but
no, we don't want that.
we don't want that, right? But
uh-uh.
having a purpose, going to your why, like why have you started this business? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you serving these clients? That is so important because once you have that aligned and you communicate that well to, the audience and the people you're serving, they're like, man, I wanna invest in that. I want to work with them because I prefer, her energy, her personality. I prefer their mission than this person's mission. And that's
Hmm.
something too that I realized that why people decide to work with me because of my energy, because of my personality, because of the way that I connect with them. And I think that's really cool. And I'm glad that you brought that up. Having purpose. Having purpose is what drives your profit. Not don't be out here being fake because we can read that. We can
Yeah, that's
okay, we can
true.
read that. We can
We
smell
can
that
read it.
a mile away,
Hmm.
miles away.
Hmm.
Okay. But having purpose and being genuine with that is what drives your revenue and will get you, where the goals that you want to make. And so
Absolutely.
you also hinted at when you first hit the six figures, you didn't feel like you deserved it.
Yeah,
So
I was
how did
like,
you get through that?
ooh, you know what? Some good old Lizzo, like a little Beyonce,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
a little sprinkle of Rihanna.
mm,
All of them give you that, you know, bad bitch energy. You know what I mean? They
mm-hmm,
like all give you that same energy of, this is who they are, this is how they're going to show up, and they're unapologetic about it. And so I
mm-hmm,
thought to myself, we've worked really, really hard to get to where we are, and I should
mm-hmm.
feel like I earned it because I did.
You did.
I want to earn some more and some more and some
Period.
more.
Mm-hmm,
And so this is how I gotta, figure out how I'm gonna do that. And I'm gonna enjoy it because I saw the statistics. A lot of the
Mhm.
companies, especially owned by women, brown women, they don't even get to hit six figures. 50, 60 is kind of like the highest. Most of them go
Mhm.
out of business in the first year or two. And I'm like, we're year three. We're,
Mhm.
we're just like beating the odds. And I don't take it for granted at all. But I'm very, very happy about it, and I'm just gonna own it. I'm like, yes, this is what I've
Yes,
accomplished.
own
This is
it.
how I did it, and I'm just gonna own it.
Yes. I think that too is very common in the Black community too,
Yes.
so especially the Black community, is that when we start seeing the money show up, we're like, oh, wait, did I deserve this? You know?
Hmm.
So when I had my first four-figure client, I felt guilty. I felt guilty of getting that money because I'm like, wait, did I charge her too much?
Why do you do that?
Do I really deserve that? I don't know. I honestly think it is a part because, just of our history, once again,
Hmm.
the social construct of like, Black people don't deserve to have money, especially Black women. Black women don't deserve to have money. We don't deserve to, run successful businesses. And I think that is what we have continued something the cycle that we have continued to break as we see
Hmm.
more Black businesses show up and thrive and be successful. We got self-made billionaires out here. Shout out to Rihanna for the fifth time, okay, on this
Shut up.
podcast. And if you are tired of it, well, I don't know what to tell you. Stop listening because you don't keep hearing it.
That's
So
right.
but
Find something else to listen
okay,
to, because this we
look, that's all I'm
giving.
saying. That's all I'm saying, okay. But yes, I think it's great seeing, other people make it past six figures and then continue to thrive and continue to grow because we need to see that.
It is hard. I will tell you that, for
Mm,
whatever reason, and I think it has a lot to do with like upbringing and just our own systemic constraints on how we feel. We should have access to this or access to this, or a cap on our earning potential, when all of
mhm,
that is just so far from the truth. But coming up, if I think about my younger self, I didn't think that any of this was possible for me at that
mhm,
time. And so being in it, I think we just kind of owe it to the next generation to just show them what's possible, show them the way how, and and just kind of be like an example of, yeah, you can too. And yep, this is
yeah.
how, this is what you should do what makes you happy. Leave
Mhm,
spaces that aren't serving you, that feel like they're emotionally and mentally draining, because you
mhm,
still want to be a whole person when you're done working for whoever you're working for. You still want to have something left, you know? And
right.
so I feel like that's very important, because so many of our younger generations, they are following someone else's dream. Their mom or their dad said they have to go to school for this, or they have to do this, or they have to do that. Says who? Do what
Mhm,
makes you happy. That's really hard to make that decision, being a young adult. But me
mhm,
being, 40 now, 41, I would have loved to have someone like me, tell me that 20 years ago. I would probably be in a whole different space, you know?
mhm.
So,
And I that makes you think about too that when I was younger, I thought, making a ton of money wasn't attainable either. Especially since I would tell people that I was surrounded with, because your girl grew up under the Bible Belt, okay, so she grew up under a very judgmental, very specific environment.
hmm.
And when I would tell people, hey, I want to, be in fashion, that's what I want to do when I get older, because that's so Raven. That's so Raven. When that came out, that was my jam.
Yes,
Okay. And that
mine
was kind
too.
of the catalyst of like, ooh, I can be in fashion too. And when I would tell people that, they'd be like, ooh, you can't make money in that. You should go be a nurse. So it's
Oh.
the fact that I'm talking to a nurse right now, right? So and I was like, oh, maybe I can't do that, but it was always picking at me. It was always like
Mm,
knocking at my door, like, hey, what about me? And if there is something that continues to pick at you, you're trying to ignore it, maybe you should explore that because that could be your breakthrough. Thousands of dollars, six figures, seven figures.
mm,
I never thought making, a certain amount of money was attainable for me. And so when I first got the three this 4 figures, I was like, hold on, like I don't think I deserve it. I think I should send it back, right?
Right.
So it definitely took me, listen to some Rihanna. It took me sitting down, writing it out, and being like, okay, why do you feel this way, right? To come to terms that I do deserve this, and I do deserve this, I deserve more. And so getting in that
Absolutely.
mindset is what allowed me now to. I'm in the process of signing five figure clients. So no one knows this.
That's
No one knows
great.
it. Yeah. So it's still like, ooh, it's scary, but I'm willing to keep going because people need to see this. The next generation needs to see that this is attainable, this is possible. And you are literally a walking billboard of like, yes, this is possible. Even if you do have a twin and you're, having identity crisis, it's still possible,
It's
right?
still possible.
It's still
It's still
possible.
possible. Hmm.
Oh my gosh. So what kind of challenges have you faced, right? So now you out here making bank, changing lives, you know what I'm saying? And so what kind of challenges have you faced as a Black woman who runs multiple businesses and who, is making well over 6 figures on her way to seven?
I will say, our biggest challenge is was access to capital, really. It is
Mm,
very hard to get
yeah.
access to capital with a woman owned business, Black owned business, LGBTQ owned business.
Mhm,
It's hard. It's very hard. And so we had to take our initial investment and bankroll the business, or they call it bootstrapping the business, which since then we've been able to, of course, pay back ourselves from the initial investment of like 12 to 15K, somewhere in there. Because at that time I wasn't tracking my numbers that good, just to be honest. So it was
mhm,
over 12, but not more than 15. And we took our own money and put it into start this business. That was a challenge, and that is very hard. That's going to be, hard for just anyone that's starting a business to come out of their own pocket to start a business because you can't get the capital right off the bat.
mhm,
So even now, it still remains somewhat of a challenge, but not as much because now our business pays for itself and then also pays other people. My salary, we have staff, we have a team of 5. And so the business is able to do that. But in the beginning, we didn't have any capital, we didn't have any credit cards, we didn't have any of that. And our business is debt free, by the way. So a lot of
Oh,
debt
yeah.
free. So a lot of businesses like ours is not debt free. Will we
Mhm,
stay debt free? Probably not, because you need to be able to, have that capital that you can use to make more investments, to buy, modern technology or bigger space or hire more
mhm,
people or whatever you need to do. But it's nice to, have that wiggle space. But having the poor access to capital was the hardest thing. So we literally had to infuse our business with the money we needed to start it,
mhm,
actually have enough clients to be able to start using the revenue and profit to be able to grow the business even further, add more services, to get more clients, market the business, pay for advertising, and then take that money. So it's like when you make it, you funnel it back into the business, you keep funneling it back, make it, funnel it back in order to actually grow the business. Because if you don't have capital, either you're using your own money and you're going broke in the process, which is not even an option for us, or you're going to figure out how to make some money in the business so you can
mhm.
use the business money to kind of grow.
So
Because
since then, have you figured out how to get capital?
yes, now we know how to access the capital. We just haven't like signed on the dotted line yet. So
Okay.
yeah, yep.
Ooh. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Pre-congratulations, post-congratulations, congratulations, because you got it. Okay, thank you. It is actually a thing that Black people don't know about capital or don't have access to capital. We recently did an episode about, the secrets to getting grants for your biz because the main thing about it is that Black people either don't even know about it or they would just much rather bootstrap than apply for grants. Or they have doubts or they think like, there's not even point in me, applying for these grants because I'm not going to get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is a generational thing. We either think, that we don't deserve money, we don't deserve happiness, we don't deserve financial security. So there's a lot in our history that we have to continue to break,
Yes.
and access to capital and grants is one of those things, because that is how we're going to not have to fully rely on bootstrapping and our personal money, because that is how we go broke, and that is how we stay broke, and then that is how we never reach 6 7 figures. I love to hear that you have found capital, and now you know how to apply for those grants, right?
It's time
Yeah.
consuming though. That's another thing. That's another thing that holds us back because we look at that application and we're like, what? All these
Mm.
questions? Then you just move on or do something else. But you have to kind of buckle down and just see it through. We did receive a grant last year, actually. The business did. And that was through
Ooh,
applying. So,
through applying,
through
y'all.
applying, you have to
I'm telling you.
apply.
So when it comes to your day to day and dealing with your wonderful clients, what is your favorite part about your job? Whether that has to do with being a profit strategist, or being a medical spa owner, or both.
When it comes to being a nurse practitioner in the medical spa, my favorite part of the day is when I get to like hand someone a mirror and they get to look at the mirror and see, you know, tell me what's concerning them and let me share with them of how I can help them resolve that issue. So for a lot
Mm-hmm.
of us, maybe it's like dark circles under our eyes, or maybe they've lost weight so they feel like they don't have volume in their cheeks, so they complain of their cheeks being flat or something like that. And I'm like, oh, we can do this, this, and this. And then they're like, okay, and we do it, and then they're like, it just makes them feel so good. And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, it makes me happy to be able to kind of facilitate that for them. And on the growth and profit strategist side of the business, I would say when my clients actually hit their first 5 figure month that they
Mm-hmm.
never thought was possible. And then they're like, Marsha, I did it. Or they hit their first 4 figure day and they're like, it really happened. And I'm just like, I told you, if you do this, 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 and this, just keep doing it over and over and over again, and it'll happen. And so both of those are kind of the response is the same. The person is shocked and happy and elated and just feeling so good about themselves. Either it's that they schedule an appointment and prioritize their self care and the way they want to look and feel,
Mm-hmm.
or they prioritize actually trying to figure out how to make money in their business and now they actually see the revenue.
And I'm gonna tell you, but I've already told you, but I'm gonna keep telling you that you are on my list of people to, like, you're my business coach. Okay.
Let's
So
go.
I'm just letting you know you're on my list, because your girl needs one. It's about to get scary out here in these
Oof.
streets. I'm just saying. You just talked about your clients, right? And you
Mhm.
talked about your clients reaching, 5 figure months. So might as well just tell us some more receipts. What are your favorite client results to this day? Bragging yourself.
I actually collectively,
Ooh.
since I started, I know collectively. So I have a whole community of nurses and nurse practitioners that I coach and mentor and show the way. Right now, we're hovering around 40. So 40 individuals that have their own businesses just like mine. Last year, we've made in the community, most of us are black and brown, but we have some diversity going on, over $850,000 in revenue.
Ooh,
And
okay.
which is really exciting. I'm very, very proud of that because all none of them thought they would make any money in their business at all.
Mhm.
And so it's nice to see them, taking up space and confident, going to work every day, working for themselves, leaving their jobs. My top client is hovering right now around $50,000 a month in revenue.
A month? Ooh,
Um,
child.
yes, a
I'll be
month in
like her when I get
revenue.
older.
I know, right? And then I have a bunch of clients that are around 10, 15, 20K per month.
Y'all hear that? So go
10
hire her.
and 10 and 50. 10
10 and
and
50K a month.
50.
It's
Uh-huh.
attainable. I love that. And I bet you a lot of them, like you said, they didn't think that they could make it. They didn't think that they could hit 10, 50K months.
Did
That
it?
is insane.
They
So
did it,
what
and I'm like, it's
mindset shifts does it have to make in order to reach those goals?
oh
And you
man.
too. Yeah. Tell me about the mindset shifts.
Yeah, so for me, a lot of them, right? Just
Hmm.
showing up and being, just telling myself that I'm worthy of actually of reaching my goals and that I'm qualified enough to help other people do the same. Sometimes
Hmm.
I have to remind myself, I'm like, not in a cocky or condescending type of way, but more so like, yes, you are that girl. You help women make money in their business. And, I figured out what works in mine, gave them the blueprint, and it works in theirs. And I just keep sharing it over and over and over again, and it works. And so I just have to remind myself of that often. And that for them, I had to always remind them that, you can do this. Some people feel they have more self doubt than courage they have to kind of figure it out. So it's
Hmm.
like, oh, even though you gave me a blueprint, it'll work for everyone else, but it probably won't work for me. Uh,
Mm.
just pump your brakes a little bit. Just
Hmm.
hold on. It's
Hold
tried and
on.
true. Just tried and
Right.
true. Just follow the
Hmm.
plan, you know? And then I have to encourage them to kind of believe in themselves, show up for the results that they want. You have to be consistent in business. You have to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again till you start getting the results that you want. And then when you start getting the results that you want, you have to double down. That's just it. That's how you're able to get up to your next level. And so for me, it's a lot of having them understand that I share an inspirational playlist that most of them listen to now. It's music. It kind of it's upbeat. It just kind of starts your day. Some spoken word and a little meditation going on in there. Just things to kind of help shift how you think traditionally, because all of us
Hmm.
are still dealing with just issues from growing up, just
Hmm.
racial things, just different things. So I feel like we have to do our own mindset shift to be able to kind of unlock these doors that we want.
And one thing you said was community. For those of y'all that don't know, because y'all don't know, but now y'all gonna know. Miss Marsha is one of my biz besties. Okay, she's in the $1 million squad. You met one of them previously, and you're gonna meet another one later on. But she is she is one of them, and there is chaos that goes on in that group. But at the end of the day, we're there supporting each other, right? Like, oh, she made 100K today, or ooh, she sent proposals for 50K, and we out here like, ooh, right? And
Yes,
I think that is really super important. I cannot stress community enough. I cannot stress surrounding yourself with people who support you enough, because the people you support yourself with are the people who are going to define your success, right? So if you're surrounded by people who are constantly complaining about how broke they are but never making any moves to get out of that place, then I'm gonna need
that's a
you to
problem.
you need to upgrade. It's a problem, right?
Hmm.
Because you're gonna develop that same mindset, and now here you are still making 40K a year, still struggling because you're surrounding yourself with those people, right? But if
Yep.
you're surrounding yourself with people who are making bank, who are making 6 figures, 7 figures, who are entrepreneurs, who are like, man, doing this, and this is my business. I'm going to go to this, conference. You need to come in the room with me. Let me introduce you to some people, right? Let me put
Yep.
you on, right? When you surround yourself with those people, that is how you're going to, become successful. That is how you're going to reach those levels that you want to reach. I would just like to say that Marsha is one of those people. I met her at a conference, and that is how I
We had a
eventually got.
good time. We had a
We had
good
a great
time.
time. We had a great time. It was phenomenal. But I am happy to hear that your clients are just out here killing it. You're gonna have to figure it out for yourself. Like, we can give you guidance, we can give you tools, but at the end of the day, you got to figure out what works for you.
Hmm.
You have to be willing to get yourself out of the hole.
Absolutely. And I tell my clients and my community all the time, I'm like, you have to be willing to get uncomfortable. It's scary.
Yes.
It's scary sending up. four-figure,
Huh.
five-figure proposal. It's scary. Send it. You better just go ahead and type that thing up and hit submit and close your eyes and then blink later and try to figure out if it went through.
Something.
Because it is scary, but how will you get to your next level if you don't move forward? Staying in the
Mhm.
same place, you're just gonna be jogging in the same place. I don't know. I don't know about you, but I'm not just doing this for fun. I'm trying to win the race, win my
Mhm.
own race. Like it's me against me. So I'm just like, I'm going. I want to move forward. I don't want to jog in place. So in order to move forward, you gotta, yeah, do some things differently.
You do. And
Hmm.
sometimes in order to move forward, you got to take a couple steps back. You got to
That
burn
is
a couple
true.
things down in order to get where you need to be. Maybe you need to be driving that Mercedes right now. Maybe you probably need to drive a Honda Civic,
Or a
for a little
Prius.
bit,
Or a Prius.
or a Prius, you know what I'm saying? Or a Chevy. Okay.
That's
As
right.
long as you get from A to B, you might have to downgrade a bit. But at some point, you're gonna upgrade. So now, I gotta ask this question, okay? Because it's something about when you start making money, all of a sudden people be all up in your pockets, all up in business,
Mm-mm.
right? So just answer me. I know you
Oh,
have, but I need you to answer me anyway. Tell me about
I'm
it, right?
I'm like, oh Lord,
You ever have people all up in your pockets talking about, can I borrow a couple of dollars?
all the time, and it's
Your
really
own children,
annoying.
your own kind, your own people.
On people, on children, on everybody. It's ridiculous. That happens quite often. And honestly, if you give it all away, you ain't gonna have none for yourself. So I don't mind helping,
Mhm.
where I can help. But no, this is not Bank of Marsha. You can't be just sitting here trying to make all these withdrawals and no deposits.
Mhm.
That's just not a thing. But it does happen. People do, and even if they don't ask for something, I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but if they're not asking for something, and not everyone, right? They'll make little comments like, must be nice, or
Mhm.
I wish I could, or something
How's a
like,
little
no,
business?
but you can. You
Mhm.
can. And it is nice, and it could be nice for you too if you were to XYZ. You know what I mean? I feel like all of us are just one decision away from doing something differently and changing our lives. And so
Mhm.
you too can unlock a six-figure door. You too can figure out how you can map your way to your first seven figures. It's attainable for us all.
So tell us how you set those boundaries.
It's really hard for me because I'm a naturally giving person.
Mhm.
But when it comes to my hard-earned coins, I be holding on to them dollars tight. I'm just like, I'm not gonna be able to do that. I'm just not gonna be able to do it. It's not really an option to really ask me. They may ask, and I'll be like, "Excuse me, excuse me."
Right.
But I don't even entertain it really. So the boundary is kind of like there. You know, I feel like people spend a lot of time judging where they think you are.
Mhm.
Just because someone makes X amount of dollars doesn't mean that they have a free flowing amount of money that they can just like lend out to people. I don't flaunt. I don't floss. I like nice things. Don't get me
Mhm.
wrong. I like nice things. I might buy myself a little something every once in a while, which is rare because I'm not even a big spender. So I'm
Oh
just like,
boy.
if I'm not a big spender, what do I look like giving you some cash when I ain't even spending my own like that? So I'm just like,
Mhm.
the boundaries for me is just kind of just cultivating a space where it's not an option for people to just come and take, take, take.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, not giving people that option.
Now, the old Marsha probably would
Ooh,
have been, yeah, the old Marsha probably would have been like,
yeah.
oh, all right, I got you. When you gonna give it back? But see, at this point where I am, Adrian always tells me, if you're gonna give someone something, if someone wants to borrow something from you, it might as well just be a gift. Because if they're borrowing, then they need it and they obviously don't have it. So if you don't have it now, then how can you pay it back? So you kind of have to be willing to gift those things. Now, every once
Mhm.
in a while, okay, but not like a regular type of thing.
Right. I will not be your employer type thing.
No, not unless you plan on working, which is interesting because Rachel says that if you're
Mm-hmm.
going to lend money, put them on payroll, have them do some tasks, have them work, and then they earn the money. And that way, it's a win win for everybody. You get some assistance, they get the cash they need, and everybody should be good.
Right. But then you realize real quick they ain't willing to put in the work. They be like, oh, never mind.
Never mind. Uh huh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I
Mm-hmm.
guess you were okay to begin with.
It made me think of, oh my gosh, I can't think of like the exact comment you said, but like the amount of pivots I had to do in my business to get to get where I am and then I'm about to go, right? I have been a personal stylist for 4 years, okay? And I have changed my mind to have pivoted 4 times every few months or every year-ish almost. Like
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
like, that's not the sweet spot. That's not the sweet spot. That's not it. Oh, oh, this is it,
This
right?
is
And then
it.
it's also, ooh, this is it. I know this is it because things are starting to pick up, and this is scary, right? And it's making me think like, oh, when the money starts rolling in, and I'm gonna start like investing more and figuring things out and putting systems in place, more people are gonna start coming with their hands out, and I'm not prepared for that because I'll hurt your feelings.
Mm.
Like
Mm-mm.
you said, the Bank of Marsha, the first bank of Diamond, will not be open for business. No, ma'am.
Mm-mm. No.
Absolutely not. Boundaries. And y'all, we need boundaries. Okay.
We
That's it.
do.
That's supposed to be.
That's so true. It's so crazy because just last night I was picking my son up from the train station. He went to out of town, Virginia for the weekend. And he gets in the car and we're talking, just having a regular conversation. And he was like, yeah, because every you're different than everyone else. But we were talking basically about me kind of helping a family member with like a party for like a baby shower, and he
Mhm,
said, "You're well, yeah, I can understand how they probably don't really want you to help because you're like different than everybody else." And I'm like, "How am I different from everyone else? I work just like everybody else. I get a paycheck just like everybody else." He was like, "Oh, because you made it. Haven't we all made it? I mean, like
mhm,
if you're not every, I feel like making it
mhm,
is different for so many people. And for me, just not being, evicted or having my car repossessed is making it. You know what I mean? And so
mhm,
I'm like, what? And he was like, yeah, because everyone thinks that you've made it, and because they think that you made it, you probably don't want to offer to kind of pay for something financially. It's going to feel like a slap in the face to other people. And I was like, why is that? And it's so crazy because he's 18, and it was just kind of mind blowing to me that he even looks at it that way, right? At
mhm,
18, to think that, oh, the family thinks that you made it, and if you offer to pay for X, Y, and Z, then it can make other people feel less than. And for me, I feel like you're in charge of your own feelings. And
exactly. It is
no,
not.
I shouldn't. My success should not make you feel inferior. If
Mhm,
anything, I want my success to make you feel empowered to do something differently or to be able to do something that you love so you also can be purposeful in your work that can
mhm,
yield profits. That's how I feel. I don't feel like
mhm,
it should be any looked at as like, oh, she thinks she's too good, or
mhm.
she's better than everyone else. To me that's just a little crazy. And so yes, I won't be the bank, but if I'm offering, then you should take me up on the offer. It's obviously something that I want to do out the generosity of my own heart, but nothing that I have to do just because you're asking for it.
Right, right. And what is really important, and you got to remind yourself every day, is that that person's feelings is not your responsibility. How they feel, how they act towards you because of your success is not your problem. It's not your responsibility. And I think for us, is very important, but also sometimes hard because we can be, really empathetic. It's like, ooh, but that's my best friend, or ooh, that's my relative, my aunt, someone that I'm really close to. But at the
Hmm.
end of the day, it's like that you shouldn't carry that burden. You don't need to carry that burden. It's not your responsibility to carry that burden. That is their
Hmm.
problem. And if they want to put their insecurities on you, that's on them. Don't let it bother you. Just keep it moving. Just be like, have a blessed day, and just keep going about your business, making money, right?
That's
So,
right.
with that being said, what are three final tips that you would give to listeners who are trying to make six figures and more?
I would say three tips that I would give for entrepreneurs that are trying to make six figures or more. I would say know where you want to go, know exactly where you want to go. Because six figures, okay, is that it? Six figures or more, how are you going to get there? What are you passionate about? What can you consistently do over and over and over again that you're not going to be bored with, that you're not going to lose focus on? Because there are going to be times where the money doesn't add up how you want it to. There's going to be times where you're going to think you're going to be closing a deal or a client and they're going to change their mind. You have to, you can't just focus on the end goal, which is the unlocking the six figures. Focus on three things. Focus on how you're going to get there. Focus on being consistent and working towards getting there. And then focus on how you plan on celebrating when you get there. Because I feel like through this process, I should have celebrated a lot more of the smaller milestones that you achieve before you even get to six figures.
Hmm.
Making 50K in business is a big deal. You should celebrate that. Signing your first five-figure client is a big deal. You should celebrate that. And I'm not talking about go out and, you know, spend a few bands. I'm not saying go crazy. I'm just saying
Yeah,
find
though.
yourself something that's memorable to, just remember that. Or take yourself out to do something nice, spa day or something like that. So that those are the three things. Kind of figure out how you're going to do it. Figure out how you can be consistent and double down on the efforts that are working once it starts working, and then figure out how you're going to celebrate it because none of this that we're accomplishing is easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing it, and you deserve everything that you want, and then you deserve to celebrate yourself when you accomplish that.
Yes, we for sure deserve to celebrate that. And best believe this weekend I will be celebrating profusely. Thank you.
Yes, celebrate.
Well, Marsha, thank you so much for being a guest, for joining this week's podcast. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, talking about things mindset, things money, things boundaries, because those are important. Okay.
So
So I appreciate your time, appreciate your friendship. And yeah. So where can the people find you?
thanks for having me on. This is fun. You can find me at on Instagram or across all social channels, really, at Cashflow CEO Official. If you're in the Baltimore area, you can find me at Quench Infusions. So, doing my nurse practitioner aesthetic services stuff. But if you are in a different space and you want to figure out how to make money in your own business, how to tap into the six figures that you were meant here to receive, then that's all at Cashflow CEO Official.
Yes, scrumptious.